So a lot has happened in the Championship over the past 7 days. We've had a new manager coming into the league, a bunch of new signings coming in, and we've got over 30 transfer rumours to discuss in today's video. So a lot to talk about. Let me know in the comments down below what do you make of all the recent speculation, and if you've seen any other transfer rumours that we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to get them in the comments down below. Also, a quick heads up, there won't be a transfer video coming out next week as I am going on holiday, but after that I'm maybe going to start putting out 2 transfer videos a week because we've got a lot going on in the league at the moment. So before we do get into any transfer news, we have to talk about Nottingham Forest. They went ahead and sacked Martin O'Neill and they replaced him with French manager Sabri Lamouchi. In terms of the sacking of Martin O'Neill, I've seen some fans having different opinions on it. Some people saying that he didn't get enough time at Nottingham Forest. When he was hired in the first place, I don't think that he was suited to the squad that Forest have there. It was a bit of a weird appointment at the time. Results weren't really going his way either. I think in the long run it probably was the right decision to let go of Martin O'Neill. However, bringing in Lamouchi, I mean, I'm not sure. It really could go either way. This is going to be his first job in England. I'm not going to lie and say that I'd heard of him before he was announced as a Nottingham Forest manager. I've had to do quite a bit of research on him before. I'll say the same thing that I was saying last season. Forest squad is good enough to get into the top 6 with the right management in there. Is he going to be the right man? Time will only tell. And in terms of Frank Lampard, it is looking more than likely that he will be the new Chelsea manager. He's been excused of the first 2 days of pre-season training at Derby to allow talks to continue with Chelsea. So the sooner that this is resolved for Derby, the better really, and as soon as they get in a new manager for themselves. And then in terms of some completed deals which have gone through in the past 7 days, we've got a lot to talk over. Stoke have been incredibly busy. They completed the signings of Nick Powell, Jordan Cousins, Liam Lindsay, Adam Davis, Lee Gregory and Stephen Ward as well. So Stoke have really got their business done early in this window. I think that'll serve them well going into the start of the season. James Justin completed his move from Luton Town to Leicester for a fee of around about £8 million. This one had been on the cards for quite a while. We talked about it in the last episode of the transfer rumour roundup. Obviously a blow for Luton to be losing a player of Justin's quality, but if they're able to reinvest some of that money into the squad and into a couple of other positions, Luton could be in a good position going into this season. Bristol City have also been busy lately. They completed the signing of Jay De Silva coming over from Chelsea. They had him on loan there last season. Important that they went ahead and filled that role after Liam Kelly has left to Bournemouth. I think that's a really good bit of business done by Bristol City there. Also completing the signing of Daniel Bentley coming over from Brentford. Bentley had not the best of seasons last time. I think a move away will probably be good for his career. He had a really good start at Brentford when he first signed for them. Last season his levels dipped a bit, but I think getting that move to Bristol City could be a good one for his career, really. And they also completed the signing of Sammy Smodics coming over from Colchester United. I think that an attacking midfielder adds a bit more depth into their squad, could be a good player to make the step up. Cardiff have also been busy in the past 7 days. They completed the signing of Joe Day, Curtis Nelson and Will Vokes as well. Will Vokes the one that I'm most excited about, making that move from Rotherham. He's probably going to be the natural replacement in there for Aaron Gunnarsson. Defender Martin Crenny is signed for Luton Town. He comes in and adds a bit more experience at the back for them. Charlton completed the signing of defender Tom Lockyer. This was the position that they were in need of strengthening after losing Patrick Bauer. A few other Championship clubs are in for him, so I think that's a good bit of business by Charlton. They also completed the signing of Chuck Saniki coming over from MK Dons. Last season in League 2 he scored 17 goals. After Millwall squad was looking really bare a couple days ago, they finally made their first few signings. Frankie Fielding coming over and attacking midfielder Tyler Burry from AFC Wimbledon. Barnsley completed the signing of 26-year-old Austrian goalkeeper Samuel Radlinger coming over from Hanover. Hull completed the signing of goalkeeper Matt Ingram coming over from QPR. QPR completed the loan signing of Luke Amos coming over from Spurs. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on in the Championship this season. Leeds completed the double loan signing of Jack Harrison and Ben White. I think that loan players are going to be important once again in the Championship this season. Leeds definitely looking to utilise that. And then finally the big transfer to talk about, Che Adams moving to Southampton. Now this one had been on the cards for quite a while, and I think that in terms of Birmingham, I think that it's good that it has happened this early on into the transfer window. It was one of those transfers where I thought this really could drag on up until deadline day, and you know, Birmingham then leave themselves in quite a vulnerable position where it's tough to replace him with such a short time frame. So I think that the fact that it has happened this early on gives Birmingham a little bit more time now to look for those replacements. Obviously it's going to be very hard to replace a player of Che Adams' quality. He's gone in the end for 16 million, which I think that Southampton have got themselves a decent deal there for the 22-year-old. It leaves Birmingham in the situation now where they are a little bit light going forward. I think that some more forward players are definitely going to be on the agenda for the rest of the transfer window, and I'd be interested to get some views from Birmingham fans as to what you make of the transfer. But those were some of the completed deals which have gone through in the past 7 days in the Championship. So now without further ado, let's get into some transfer rumours. And we'll start out the rumours with some Birmingham City news. The first player they've been linked to over the past 7 days has been Jefferson Montero, the Swansea City winger. Spent the second half of last season on loan at West Brom. A really odd player, Montero. I think the injuries, he's not got the best record over his career, is a bit injury prone. When he's really on his game, he can be a quality player. You know, there were a couple instances at the start of last season where he came off the bench and really changed the game game for Swansea. But I think it's just those levels of inconsistency which haven't helped him throughout his career. Obviously, Birmingham are in need of a little bit more creativity now after losing Jota and Chedham's. Goals may be a little bit of an issue if they don't address that for the rest of the window. Montero could be a quality player in this league. He just needs to find that bit more consistency about him. Huddersfield midfielder Jack Payne's another one I saw linked to the Blues. Last season he was loaned out to Bradford, a pretty poor Bradford side which went on to get relegated, but in that side he scored 9 goals and picked up 5 assists. A bit of an ambitious transfer will be Birmingham signing George Puskas. I've just seen that link being made after having a very good under-21s tournament with the Romania squad. I'm not sure how realistic this one will be. He's playing his football currently in the Serie B for Palermo. In the under-21 tournament he scored 4 goals in 4 appearances. Last season in Italy he scored 9 goals. It would be a very ambitious signing, but I'm not sure how much is really in this one. And I'd also seen Birmingham being linked to Spanish midfielder Moy Gomez. Last season for Huesca scored 2 goals and picked up 7 assists. I think he'd be a tidy player, but they probably face competition from a couple of other clubs. And a couple of weeks ago we were also seeing Birmingham being linked with a trio of Wolves player Ruddy, Seiss and Bonatini, all being linked with the Blues. So definitely there's going to be a bit of activity I think over the next few weeks at Birmingham, and definitely a club to keep your eye on after the departures they've had over the last few weeks. Moving on from Birmingham though and hopping into Nottingham Forest, it's looking increasingly likely that Muric will be signing on a season-long loan from Manchester City. It's looking like he has the option to either go to Preston or to Nottingham Forest, and at this point in time of recording it's looking more than likely that Forest will be his choice. Alan Hutton's still being linked around the Championship with Nottingham Forest, West Brom and Wigan all very interested in the former Aston Villa fullback. He's currently a free agent and I think that would add a decent bit of experience to any of those sides. Highly rated Portuguese midfielder Alpha Semedo could be on his way to Wigan Athletic on a loan deal from Benfica. We spoke about that partnership between Benfica and Wigan a couple of videos ago, but what a loan signing this would be. I mean, they had Reece James last season and this really will be some statement. He scored in the Champions League last season for Benfica. Wigan have been fairly quiet so far in this window. I've not really seen all too many links with them, but this would be a really good way to get the ball rolling. Only 21 years old, very strong midfielder. He spent the second half of last season out on loan at Espanyol. Kieran Dowell's still being chased by a few clubs, with Huddersfield and Wigan said to be the two most interested in the Everton attacking midfielder. He spent the second half of last season out on loan at Sheffield United. For Wigan especially, I think that getting another player in that number 10 position, now Nick Powell has left and gone to Stoke, will be quite important for them. You know, a lot of that attacking onus is sort of resting on the shoulders of Josh Windass, and with him being a little bit flaky last season, I think that bringing in a player like Dowell would be a very good bit of business, and same for Huddersfield as well. I think he'd be a very good signing. Bournemouth goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale's also being linked around at the moment, with Huddersfield and Millwall said to be the most interested in the young English goalkeeper. Spent last season out on loan at AFC Wimbledon where he impressed. I think a loan move to the Championship is going to be the next step in his career. And another goalkeeper Millwall are chasing is said to be John McLaughlin of Sunderland. I saw a report the other day saying that Sunderland were wanting £5 million for the 31-year-old, and I mean, for the life of me, I can't see Millwall paying anywhere near that. Now that Daniel Bentley has made his move to Bristol City, Brentford are in the market for a goalkeeper, and their number 1 target is looking like it is going to be Blackburn goalkeeper David Raya. Only 23 years old, Raya would fit into Brentford's recruitment policy. I quite like David Raya as a goalkeeper. He had a couple of dodgy moments last season, but on the whole I thought he had a very solid season in the Championship. Reflex is very good. I think he'd be a good replacement for Daniel Bentley. Luke Freeman going to Sheffield United still remains to be a strong possibility. If I had to put money on it now, I think that it is more than likely that this transfer will end up going through. What fee will it be? I'm interested to know what fee QPR are going to look to hold out for. However, a potential replacement for Freeman at QPR could be Alan Judge. Now, I found this one to be a little bit weird as he has pretty much just signed for Ipswich Town. He's already been linked with a move away from them, but an interesting one nonetheless. He played his best football at Brentford under Mark Warburton, so there's already a connection there between the clubs. In the 2015-16 season, he scored 14 goals from midfield and was an absolute baller in the Championship. He then picked up a serious injury, and since coming back from that injury, it hasn't quite been the same player. I'm sort of in two minds about what I think of this one. QPR fans, let me know down below what you make of it. Southampton striker Sam Gallagher is also being linked to Blackburn Rovers at the moment. We spoke about him last week being linked to Brentford, and now Blackburn also emerged to be on the scene. I think that he'd be a good backup striker to someone like Danny Graham. Graham I was very impressed by last season, formed a very good partnership with Bradley Dack, but in Sam Gallagher's previous loan spell at Blackburn, he did very well. And sticking with Blackburn, they've also got Charlie Adam training with them at the moment, so I'm interested to see if anything comes of that deal. And the transfer rumour, which has been causing all sorts of drama recently, has been Adam Webster being linked to Aston Villa. Now, it's very understandable to see why Villa want a player like Adam Webster. He's young English, had a brilliant season last time with Bristol City, one of, if not, you know, the best defenders in the league last season. I think he'd do quite well making the move up to the Premier League, but Bristol City have gone ahead and slapped a £30 million price tag on the defender, which has caused some sort of outrage lately. And I mean, I think Bristol City are fully within their rights to do something like that. out. They don't want to sell their player. Financially, they're very comfortable. They're in a position where they don't need to sell their best players. Keeping hold of Webster, I think, will be crucial if they want to have a top 6 push next season. And there's also a very similar situation going on at Leeds at the moment with Kalvin Phillips and with Aston Villa being very interested. It's looking like Leeds have also slapped a 30 million price tag on the defensive midfielder. So the question that I'd ask to the general Championship viewer is, who do you see as more likely to make that move to Villa? Will it be Kalvin Phillips or will it be Adam Webster? We mentioned it a lot throughout the past few weeks of how crucial Phillips was to Leeds last season and will be going into the next season as well. And I mean, it will leave a massive hole in that Leeds squad if he is to go. Quite an odd transfer rumour which came up with Callum Robinson linked to Norwich City. Sky Sports reported that they had put in a £6 million bid. However, about half an hour after that tweet did come out, Preston came out and said that no bids have been made for Callum Robinson as of this moment. Obviously, £6 million is way under Robinson's valuation. After scoring 12 goals in 24 starts for Preston from the wing last season, his value has to be much higher than that. The only sort of snag in a Robinson deal will be the fact that he's only got 1 year left in his contract, and that doesn't leave Preston in the best position to bargain. With Robinson though, I think that one of two things has to happen this summer. Either he's got to sign a new contract or he's probably going to be leaving, because Preston, we can't be allowing him to run down his contract to leave on a free. He's just too valuable for that. It also looks as if Jack Clark, the Leeds United 18-year-old winger, is going to be making his move to Tottenham. However, after the deal is done, it's looking like he will be loaned back to Leeds for the remainder of the season. I think that really that's the best of both worlds. You know, Leeds get a decent transfer fee for him and then they get to use him for the rest of the season. And it also looks as if the loan move for Helder Costa is getting closer. This one will be a quality one for Leeds. He didn't have the best season last time in the Premier League with Wolves, but with Wolves sort of changing their system a little bit now, a player like Costa doesn't really fit into that side. I think that under Bielsa in the Championship, he could absolutely rip it up. And a story which is very recently broken was Fulham being interested in Pontus Jansson. Now, with Leeds valuing Kalvin Phillips at around about £30 million, Leeds fans, what would you value Pontus Jansson at? This was a player who, I mean, it would be a brilliant signing for Fulham if it did come off, but I just can't see him leaving Leeds. I can't see him wanting to leave. Brentford defender Ezri Konsa could be on his way to Wolves as they look very interested in the ball-playing centre-back. Fits into their recruitment policy, only 21 years old. He's a player who Nuno can look to develop. After some of the other departures that Brentford have already seen in their backline, I think that this one will be quite a blow for them. But I'm interested to see how they go about their business for the rest of this window now. They always seem to unearth a couple of gems. Fulham and West Brom both appear to be interested in bringing in Trevor Chalobah on loan from Chelsea. He spent last season out on loan at Ipswich. It was hard for any sort of player to shine in that side that was sat rock bottom of the table for the majority of the season, but even so, managed to score 2 goals, get 1 assist from midfield. He had an average match rating of 6.72, which, given all circumstances, for a 19-year-old on loan to a club who got relegated, that's not too bad. And another Chelsea player on the move, it does appear as though Thomas Callas is going to be making a permanent move to Bristol City. A really good statement of intent from Bristol City, and their back line is looking very strong at the moment. It's just depending on what happens with Adam Webster, but if we're getting that partnership back for another season, Bristol City could be set up fairly well. I think the fee being talked about is around about £8 million, so Bristol City not messing about in this transfer window. They already strengthened a couple of positions. I think Bristol City were also one of the clubs who had been interested in Kiefer Moore. Millwall, another one who I saw mentioned, the Barnsley striker. Last season in League One, scoring 17 goals, a brilliant target man. And it also looks like Bristol City are going to be going in for Doncaster midfielder Tommy Rowe. Charlton looked to be very keen on Bolton attacking midfielder Oztumer. He really didn't get a fair chance at the Championship last season. You know, for the majority of the season, he was sat on the bench or not involved in the side. Playing in Phil Parkinson's system, a creative, small, dynamic midfielder was never really going to fit into that side. Charlton would be a much better fit for him, and I think he deserves another chance at Championship football. I think that playing in their system, I actually think he could go on to do very well. Free agent Josh Vela looks to be a target for Hull City. After being relegated by Bolton, Vela's one of the sort of few players who I actually do quite rate at Bolton. And despite not having the best of seasons last time, I think he'd be a decent sort of squad player for Hull. Marcus Maddison's someone who's linked to the Championship every single season. Hull have been one club who I have seen has been interested. Last season in League One for Peterborough, scored 8 goals and picked up 15 assists. He would be a quality replacement if someone like Grosicki or Bone was to leave. My team Preston has been linked to former Man United striker James Wilson. Honestly, I don't want this one to happen. I don't think he'd improve us. He's not the sort of striker who I'd like to target at the moment. We've also been linked to Keenan Davis. A few Championship clubs seem to be interested. I think a loan move back to the Championship would make sense. You know, with Aston Villa getting promoted, I can't see him getting much much game time in the Premier League. The club said to be interested are Preston, Swansea, QPR and Hull City. And then finally I've seen Josh Murphy being linked with a move to the Bundesliga. Schalke potentially interested in the English winger. He made his move to Cardiff last season. Maybe the Premier League came a little bit too soon for him. He had some decent spells there, but was a tad inconsistent. I personally would like to see what he can do over another full season in the Championship. I thought he was very good in his final season with Norwich. I think he's a player who Cardiff should look to keep hold of as well. But guys, there you have it. There are some of the latest rumours currently going around the league. So if you have seen any others that we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to get them in the comments down below. But apart from that, that will now wrap it up for this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Make sure to subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.